Welcome, welcome, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Kemetic, the Apprentice, and this is yet another episode of Boss Basics, a space where men remember that they are not deprived by all the damn holidays combined. My guest needs no introduction. It's Mr. Strong Island, Mr. Sak Passe Nabule, the passport god, the
Yes,
red
sir.
pill
Yes, sir.
chauvinist. It is
What up? What up?
it's a blessing to have you here just because of the fact that I know your brand and for you to even look out for me, man, it really means a lot.
Nah, it's my pleasure being here, man. We kick it off YouTube, man. So this is just two kings chopping it up, man.
And what's so cold about it is that what attracted me to Modu and each specific member of Modu before we had the little purge was the fact that I could tell that you guys conducted yourselves as such. I could tell that you guys stood on your square. And this is going to segue into the topic of today because, man, I it saddens me the way I see men just walking around to the point where, like the thumbnail that I put on a live stream, man. When I used to record the videos and I saw man after man after man walking around with the little baby raps. It hurts my soul. I've been to every continent except Antarctica, and I have yet to see a man with a damn baby wrapped on his chest. Yet here it's the norm. So, how do you feel about the modern man?
That's a great question, man. Man. Where do I begin? That's a loaded question. Again, that's a great question. Let me unpack what I'm seeing in my head, man. Like the modern man today is not a man. I'm gonna start off with that. The modern man is not a man, at least from my standards and what I grew up with and what I grew up on. The modern man is actually a female with a penis. Okay. Now, before we could even get even deeper, we have to define these things. You know what I'm saying? The difference between a man and what I just described. Now, to me, and shout out to Coach Red Pill, I got this definition from Coach Red Pill. The definition of a man is a grown male who can control his emotions, set his emotions aside, and use logic and reason to reach the best outcome. Now, if you look at the modern man, he is not that
At all.
He's actually a boy that has grown up. Not only is he a boy that's grown up, he's a boy that has grown up under femininity, meaning he had no man in his life. Because I was going to say male role model, but that's a misnomer, because nowadays when you say male role model, it's assumed that male was a man. And we just described that there's a difference between a man and a male. Okay. So to be more specific, the question was asked, what is the modern man? So we're going to call him the modern male. And I just told him that they're really not a man, but the modern man has grown up with no man figure. Okay. Even if they had a male in the house, that male may have been ran over by the woman in the house. And that is that boy's example of what a man is. Another thing to that is, even if they didn't have a male in the house, especially if they didn't have a male in the house, and I'm gonna get into that, because they don't have a male in the house, they don't even know where to mimic masculine traits. Like I've said before in other videos, I grew up with my father. My father's still married to my mother, okay, 40 plus years. But what I emphasize is my father never sat me down and taught me a lesson. I've learned life-changing lessons from my father. A lot of me is him. But again, he never sat me down and taught me a lesson. It was all from here. It was all from here. Watching him, hearing how he talks, seeing how he interact. You know what I mean? Like I ain't gonna call myself a genius. What I'm gonna say is I notice patterns, sequences, and all that stuff. So for me noticing certain patterns, for me noticing certain ways that he interacted with people and the response that he got. And another thing I must emphasize, that my father demands respect. Okay. I never heard him go to somebody and say, you have to respect me. And if you don't, he never had to say it. His presence said it. All right. So these are the things that I learned from watching my father. And even watching, we want to talk about the difference between a male figure and a man figure. The one story that I give between about my parents, that showed me like the difference between like a male figure and a man figure, and that my pops is a man figure, is the story that I told about how, now mind you, I've never seen my parents argue. I probably seen them maybe once or twice, raise their voice, but once they saw me, my brother, they kind of stopped and kept it regular. But the one time I seen them arguing like excessively was, we planned on going to like a christening or some type of family event, right? That we had planned on going for weeks, right? We knew it was going there. I was probably like maybe 13. My pops was a New York City cab driver. So I mean, he's working like 10, 12, 16 hours a day at times, right? So he comes back from work and, he shower, shave, get dressed. We all getting dressed, suited and booted, ready to go. It's about 7 o'clock at night. And we all walking out the house. Me and my two brothers, we're in the backseat of the Jeep. I see my parents come out. My mom come out first, and my pops come out. No, pardon me. My pop comes out first, and my mom. My pops walks out the house. He walks to the passenger side. And I remember my mom was halfway down the stairs like, yo, what you doing? Aren't you driving? He was like, nah, man, I've been working all day, man. Now you drive. Now, mind you, this family function is my mother's side of the family. I'm saying? So my pop's like, nah, I'm tired, man. You drive. She's like, nah, I don't feel like driving and this, that, and third. He's like, yo, look, man, if you ain't driving, we ain't going. And I remember just looking at my brother just like that, like, yo, you heard what dad just said? Like, nah, I mean, come on. Cause my dad is a jokester too. Like, he could be sarcastic and shit. But even like I said, I noticed patterns and, I could pick up on vibes. The way my pop said it, something about the way he said it made me look at my brother like, yo, I don't think I never seen my pops like this serious with my mom. But I'm like, nah, he can't be serious. We already suited and booted. We already got dressed up. We took our showers. Yo, we ready to go. My mom's like, nah, I don't feel like. My pops closed the door like, dude, like, yo, listen, man, if you ain't driving, we ain't going. Oh, but my pops went back inside, fam. I remember looking at my brother like, yo, are we still going? My mom's opened the driver's side door like, kid, step out. Come out the car, yo, we ain't going no more. And I remember being confused, like, hold on. How my pops just do that? Cause remember at that time, my mom was the caretaker. Remember, matter of fact, I might have been younger than that. I must have been like 9 or 10 years old. I wasn't even a teenager yet. Because the reason why it blew my mind is because at that point in time in my life, my mom was like the caretaker and like the in my mind the authority figure. Because anytime, like even when I was younger, at that age, around that age, when I wanted, the only time I would go to my mom would send me to my pops was for money, right? So he's almost like the bank. So to me, it's like my mom's the authority, my pops is just the bank. So when that happened, that made me realize like, oh wow, yo, this dude is his own person. Like he didn't want to go, cause Pete, after once he went inside, like yo, I'm learning this at 9, 10 years old. Cause Pete, once he walked inside or started walking inside, my mom didn't say nothing to him. Where you going? What are you doing? She didn't say nothing. Her next move was open the door, your kids. We ain't going no more. When I went inside, there was no additional argument. By the time I got upstairs, my pops was already in his boxes and his wife beat in the bed chilling, laid out. I'm just like, it's not like he was upset in the bed, like, I can't believe she wanted me to drive. It's like the thing never happened. Watching TV like, yo, boo. And in my mind, so what that did to me was make me realize like, yo, like, let me rewind. You good for having me do that. One of the things, the only other time I felt that way of like, noticing the difference between male and female, I remember the first time that I saw vagina. You know what I'm saying? I must have been like 4 or 5 years old. It was like one of my cousins getting changed or something like that. And I remember like looking at my pops like, yo, what's that? Like what happened to that baby? Yo, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, man, this is what happens when we chop game. You see, I'm just listening. It would be disrespectful for me to interject. But you saw her changing. Yeah, I saw her getting changed. And I remember looking at my pops like, yo, what happened to that baby? Because all I was accustomed to seeing was, my joint, what my stuff looked like, right? And my pops was like, oh no, that's a girl. You're a boy, that's a girl. I was like, yeah, but what happened to that? She's like, no, they have different parts. And I remember being like, oh, wow. There's a difference between boy and girl. Like, because before that, as a child, I was never taught that. The only other time that I was taught there was a difference between boy and girl when I was younger was, again with my pops.
I went to like a friend's house or a cousin's house, wherever, and the girl was playing with a doll. They were playing house or whatever. So I went over there, started playing with the doll too. My pop's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, look at him like, what? Well, I'm just playing. Like, nah, that's not for you. You play. Go ahead, you play with the truck over there. This is for her. I remember thinking like he didn't have to go no further. I remember just thinking like at 4 or 5 years old, like, oh, there's a difference. Okay, girls do that and boys, okay. Then I saw the baby being changed, and then I saw my pops, standing his ground. So by the time I was 13, a chick couldn't tell me nothing. And mind you, I have a lot of females in my family. And I remember like older cousins, like 18, when I was like 12, used to try to tell me, yo, you do this and I'd be like, yo, who you? Who are you to tell me what to do? Whereas my other cousins, my brother be like, okay, Sheila said we have to do such and such. I'm like, who's Sheila? You know what I mean? So I've always been different. And that's only because I had a man figure in the home. And to answer your question, just to rewind, you asked, what's my take on the modern man? The modern man is someone who is a female in a male's body. You know what I mean? Because they were raised by, not only were they raised by single parent homes, which is mostly by females. Not only that, but even when they leave the home, they go to school, right? Or they go to daycare, babysitting, more females. Okay. So now you go to school, you're being taught by a female. Your principal is probably a female. Even if it's not a female, it's probably a dude who's getting ran by the females of the school.
They're oversaturated with female energy. And I hate to interject, but
no, go ahead.
It's two dynamics. And before I continue, I would like to say, the master teacher, the pimp god, his father passed recently. So I would like
my condolences.
I would like a moment of silence for his father and for my father. Okay, so when you said what you said, let me ask you a question. Your father, if I'm not mistaken, your father, your mother, they're first generation immigrants, correct?
That's correct.
Boom. So that answers it right then and right there, because a totally different culture.
Yes.
So my father, right? My father was like 13 or 14 years old, older than my mother. Mm-hmm. My mother was young. You see what I'm saying? My mother had me. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just really quick. I was gonna say my pops is 10 years older than my mom's.
Okay, that's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And my father, so the relationship between my mother and my father, I really didn't know, because I didn't see my father from the time I was like 3 or 4 until I was like 8 or 9. So people would come to me and say, "Hey man, oh yeah, you that's your father. Your father cool. Your father this." I'm like, I don't even know this dude. You see what I'm saying? I only heard what people were telling me. So when I saw him, I was just I was like, okay, it was underwhelming, because I said, this is the guy you're talking about. And my reference for masculinity was watching movies. So I grew up in the early 90s. So I saw Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Wesley Snipes. You see what I'm saying? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that was my dude.
I watched all of these dudes in their movies and how they operated. You see what I'm saying? By themselves and with the opposite sex. So that's how I assumed my father would be. So when I finally, ran back into him, he wasn't like that at all. So it kind of gave me a complex. So juxtapose that with the family dynamic. I come from a matriarchal family. All of my aunts except one are divorced. And so okay, to highlight, strong women. When I think of strong women, true strong women, I think of my aunts and women from their generation, because there's a lot of stuff that's normal now that they wouldn't even think of doing. So I know what real queens, and I hate to use that word. I hate to use that word because it's passed around, it's used loosely, but I know what they look like. So
hey, can we point out, in order for a woman to be a queen, she must have a king. She cannot be a queen without the king. So all these people talking about, I'm queen this, I'm queen that. All I would ask is, who queened you? Who is the king that queened you?
Not to mention,
can't be a queen without a king.
Not to mention, tell me a king that was crowned because he married the queen. There's no such thing. You see what I'm saying? Queen Elizabeth. Well, is she still a queen? Because I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's still a queen. The succession's about to pass, but her husband, he didn't become king. You see what I'm saying? So she had to. So he had to be brought down.
Yes.
So that does something psychologically, knowing that your wife is the queen and you're just, you You
The
see what I'm
queen's
saying?
husband. The queen's
Yeah,
husband.
you just the consort, the queen's consort.
Damn.
So what's so cold about it? You know, I saw generation after generation after generation. There's a book, man. If you ever have any time, check it out. It's called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Now, this book was written in 1988. And the theme of the book, I'm gonna send you the link in the Modu chat. The theme of the book is a crisis of masculinity. They talked about this well over 30 years ago. So when I talk, and this is why I get into it with these people that are always talking about, well, how come they say masculinity is under attack? I'm like, man, you think that problem? You think the problem hasn't been exacerbated?
Wow.
This book was written over 30 years ago.
Hey, yo, pause real quick. Real quick. I never gave you your props, man. I just want everybody listening to these episodes to know, or anytime you listen to the War Report, aka, you know what I'm saying, Betancourt, Toxic, you're talking to or speaking with Mr. Dr. Wordsmith. That should be another one of your names, man. Dr. Wordsmith. Because your vocab is so vast, man. And I don't meet too many people who I feel has a wider vocabulary than myself, man. So I just want to, you know, show respect to your vocabulary, man, because people don't understand. And you speak multiple languages, right?
Yeah, I do my thing.
Come on, man. So anybody speaking with, talking to, or listening to Dr. Wordsmith, you must know that you're speaking to a highly intelligent, melanated man. Continue.
Man, thank you for the praise. That's
yes, sir.
That means a lot. That means a lot coming from yourself. And the basis for this show, or for my platform, period, is to get men, you see what I'm saying, to go back to the way it was. That's why I call it a retro game. That's why I call it, you know, neo chauvinism. You see what I'm saying? Because like Pastor God, you don't understand my second deployment. I was in a village in Baghdad called I can't really pronounce it because my Arabic is a little rusty, but I think it was called like Baka Village. It was called Baka Village. And one of the interpreters was like, hey, you see what I'm saying? You want to know why we don't really fool with black dudes? I was like, why? He said, because y'all women don't even respect you. And when he said that, I said, damn, he's all the way on the other side of the globe.
And he know that.
And he knows what's going on. So, you know, I was thinking about this. Granted, this is well over 10 years ago. And you know, as it stands, right? You don't understand. You don't understand how I say I'm grateful for feminism. I'm grateful for what's going on right now because the lines are drawn.
Yes, sir. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that because women are creatures of culture. So I know they're only doing what's popular in the mainstream. But me, I take offense when I see these hyena males. Now, like I was saying, my father, for example, you know, me and my mother used to get into it. She gives sorry males a pass. I'm not beating up on the dead man. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking it like it is. Right. Because her father, you know, her father is the same way. Now, just to give you context, I remember, now this is a tale of two extremes. I remember my mother telling me, oh yeah, you know, my father, you know, whenever we tell each other we love each other, this and that, you know, we make sure we say that. And I said, all right, cool. But then later on, I said, yeah, so how often did you see your father when you was younger? She said, you know, maybe once every 2 to 3 years. I said, so you saw a guy that was in the same city. DC is small. Right. You see what I'm saying? It's small. Not even if it wasn't DC. What I'm saying is that this man lived in the same city and you saw him once every 3 years. And yet you take offense when I say I don't want to be bothered with him. You take offense when I say I don't want to be bothered with. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad that she's mad. I'm mad at the fact that she's mad because like I'm like, so you think I should? One thing I despise a weak male. It kills my spirit.
There's many of them.
I mean, the world is ran by weak males. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
that's
why, no, matter of fact, boom, I take that back because it's a book called Anatomy of Female Power. It's written by a Nigerian guy. He said men rule the world, but women rule those men. You see what I'm saying? And when he said that, boom, just like you did, it was like a light bulb went off of my head. You see what I'm saying?
Because that's the way it is in the hospital. Because I'm realizing, like, I'm like, why is it so confused and all this, that, and third? Because I'm like, oh, because it's management. But I'm like, nah, it's the higher ups. The higher ups are like males. Like, they should know. But I'm like, nah, but the females probably run these dudes. Just like when I think about politics and government. I'm like, yo, this dude's at the top, like, But what their wives telling them, what they daughters telling them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, like I said, you're a highly intelligent man. For you to just say that and pick up on it immediately, you got to be intelligent. I hope everybody else listening picks up on that.
Let's put a pin in what you just said as it pertains to politics. More women. Let me get this little. I gotta find this. I gotta search through.
Yo, you gotta unpack something too, because I know what you mean when you said it. But you something that Black Ram taught me and Afi is that, you know, we are highly intelligent people, right? Because real quick, a lot of people believe that they're intelligent. I used to be like, there's a lot of dumb people out here. There ain't nobody intelligent. All right, we have to realize, report that the norm is considered intelligent, because if it wasn't, that means you considered most people in the world as dumb. You know what I'm saying? So we have to realize that normal is considered intelligent. So what we consider people who have no common sense and, you know, whatever else I can say about them, that is considered intelligence in America, normal baseline intelligence. So with that being said, we have to consider ourselves highly intelligent, which is completely different. Okay. So because we are highly intelligent, we can talk to each other and speak, and we could pick up on things and keep it moving. But the intelligent people need us to slow down and unpack certain things, right? So you had said something that females follow the social norm, I believe is what you said.
Yeah, they're creatures of culture.
Creatures of culture is what you said. Woo! I know what you meant by that. Unpack that for the people, man. Females are creatures of culture.
I'm gonna give everybody a prime example. Remember when, if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna credit this to Cassie. She might not have been the first one, but I remember like in 2000, I think I was out of the military at the time, so I'll probably say 2009. Cassie, she was on Twitter and she was like, "Hey, look, the new hairdo," and she had a little one side shave.
Yeah, I remember that.
The next thing I know, you see what I'm saying? I'm seeing videos.
Yes.
I'm seeing girls running.
Everybody got it.
Damn. Everybody have the same type of jump. You see what I'm saying? Another example. I remember when Drake started talking about drinking Moscato, right? I would be in a barbershop getting my hair cut, and I would hear a girl, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I just got me a bottle of Moscato," and I'm just sitting there thinking like, so a dude talk about drinking Moscato, next thing you know, it's the end thing. So what's going on now, right? As far as women's empowerment, I have no qualms with women's empowerment, but when you're trying to tear down men to make yourself feel better, that's when I have a problem with it. So the reason why women are the way they are is because they're being told. You see what I'm saying? They're being taught this. You know, they thought this way because they were taught this way. So that's why I'm talking about they're nothing but creatures of culture. Again, this all ties back into female nature. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But when I come across feminists, and they hit you with the usual rhetoric, and I'm kind of going off topic, but it all comes back.
We're gonna swing back, right?
But when they talk about feminism and how it's about equality, I say, okay, well, if it's about equality, how come it's not called equalism? How come you're not equalist? I said because it's all about equality until y'all want special treatment. You see what I'm saying? Women talk about how they want equality, but I don't hear them going down to the family court trying to get the laws changed. You see what I'm saying? So you can miss me with that. And when I say the creatures of culture, you don't understand how many young girls identify with being feminists. Now, and I mean, it is what it is. But what I'm saying is if you want to have untold numbers of abortions, if you want sexual partners out the yin yang, live your life, Slim.
Right.
But the bill is going to come due. And when that man that you're looking for, you see what I'm saying? That passport guy, when you come across the passport guy and he said, "Hey, I'm not interested," don't sit there and blame him. You need to take accountability with yourself.
Don't ask me who hurt me.
Man, for real. Don't hit you with that shaming language. That's an elective that I did not take in high school or college. So I do not understand it. I do not understand it in the slightest. In my platform, I tell women like it is because I have a daughter. And I'm fighting a civil war with her mother because her mother lives, I call it Lanisha land. She lives in a faraway mystical world, you see what I'm saying, with rainbows. And I'm like, look, man, it doesn't work like that. Right. Add on top of that her religion. So she was an extremist before she became saved. So now that she's saved, she puts her religion on top of that. So you got feminism, you got her religion, you got her growing up in a household that never had any male authority. So it just it's so many different dynamics in one. But I had got off topic, so I wanted to touch bases on it. Says, okay, the League of Women Voters was established. Okay, cool. So I got this graph, right? And they're talking about how basically the graph says that women are more likely to exercise their right to vote. And
Okay.
it's I'm looking at the numbers. I'm gonna send the link back in the chat. And all I'm saying is, if you look at the landscape of politics, more and more women are being elected to office, and more women are being are involved in politics. So what does that mean? On a grand scale, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because all of these legislations are passed that benefit women. So I'm trying to tell men, I'm like, look, you need to don't complain to the referees. You have to learn the
Right.
rules. It's a dirty game.
Right.
And the way it is now, man, they've declared full-scale war on masculinity. Men such as yourself, King Fee, Coach Don P, Book Banner. We are considered relics of the past. You don't remember that? You don't remember that report that the American Psychological Association put out that said traditional masculinity was harmful and toxic? Do you remember that?
No,
You
I
don't
didn't
remember that?
know. I didn't know. No, I didn't know that.
Okay, I'm gonna send another. If I'm lying, I'm
Wow.
flying. The American Psychological Association said this in an
Wow.
article. It listed an example. It said the modern man should be like Pajama Boy. Now, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like anybody that I'm trying to emulate. You see what I'm saying? So it just goes to show you, and that's why I call this the war report, because we are on the front lines. I'm fighting for the next generation because they don't have any hope. It's serious, man. Full-scale war has been declared on masculinity.
Hey, and that's what I'll be harping on, especially at my job and people in my family, friends. Like when I be pointing stuff out, like what you're saying, how they're attacking masculinity, and they be pointing out things that, oh, what are you talking about? We got this and we got that. I'm like, yo, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the next generation, the youth, them. I mean, the 4 or 5-year-olds. That's who it's going to really affect. Because something that you brought up before, you said, growing up, even if you didn't have that man or male figure in the house, you had, celebrities, you had your action heroes, what I'm saying, in movies. Even with that, kids nowadays don't even have that. They don't even have shows that emulate masculinity, movies, characters that emulate masculinity. So when I started noticing that, even in commercials, I never see a masculine male. And if it is a masculine male, it's not a melanated masculine male. And if it is a masculine male or male period that's melanated, one thing I noticed, and you picked this too, the dude is always like bald or has a Caesar, which is Roman. You know what I mean? I never seen a dude with his joint out, his hair out, growing out in these commercials or anything like that. So y'all gotta realize it's not just an attack on masculinity, like to be even more specific, it's an attack on melanated masculinity. I mean, they don't want to show you in your natural form. I mean, the way your hair grows and everything like that, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it's all psychological.
That's a you know what, the next show we're gonna have is gonna touch on this, because that's a 3-hour, 4-hour, you see what I'm saying, live right there, because you don't even want to get me started on this. And what's so cold about it, I go back and forth with our own people the most about this. When I say that black masculinity, you see what I'm saying, has been attacked from the time we came into contact with the Arab colonizers and the European colonizers. So I don't really want to touch too much on this right now, just because it's a lot to unpack. But for example, right, I remember when I'm trying to get back in touch with this dude so bad, because he was the one who, I would say, he lit the fuse as far as my consciousness is concerned, because a lot of this stuff I had never heard before. I didn't know that Egypt was a name that the Greeks gave to the native Africans. I didn't know. I thought Egypt was always Egypt. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know that before, you see what I'm saying, the transatlantic slave trade, there was an Arab slave trade. You see what I'm saying? 700 years before that. I didn't know none of these things. So he was just trying to tell me how, and then what's so cold about it, when he was telling me all of these things and I started to peep, I said, damn. I said, this is true. I said, wow. So when Dave Chappelle said, I'm not wearing no dress, remember when he left from his show?
Yep.
It's like back in 04, they tried, the narrative was that he went crazy. The narrative was that, he was off his rocker, when he wasn't crazy at all. He just stood in his square. He was like, nah, I ain't wearing no dress. What's up?
Rex.
And I respect him even more for that, because if you look at the Big Mama's houses, if you look at Eddie Murphy and all of the movies that he played when he wore dresses, if you look at Jamie Foxx playing Wanda, more recent with Terry Crews and all of his emasculating antics. It's just the fact that, as a man, you have to stay on squares, man. Like I'm, and what's so cold about it is this was months ago. And the guy, I don't watch the show, but it was a show called ATL. Is it called ATL? Or I think the show's called ATL. It got Childish Gambino on it.
Okay.
I know
what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, when one of the actors that was on the show, he was on an awards that's on the show. He was on an award show wearing a dress. Man. You have this big debate about it. And I said, and I'm debating with Black women. What kills me is the same women will sit there and complain and say, we are the real men. But then, you see what I'm saying? but then a man walk around in a dress and they say, oh yeah,
that's cool,
expressing himself. I said, look, you can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
It makes no sense. Masculinity is binary. It's black or white. Either you are a masculine man or you're not. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm to the point now where this one lady asked me, she said, I get tired of arguing with so-called men who are so fragile in their sexuality and all this other stuff. And she just asked me straight up, she said, what are you willing to lose for your masculinity? I said, everything.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Everything. Because there is no in-between. It's literally black and white. I have a 4-year-old son. I refuse. You see what I'm saying? I refuse to fall by the wayside and just go with what the dominant society is saying is acceptable for the modern man. And what's so cold about it, you got hyena males. Like at my job, man, it's nothing but hyena males.
Well, describe a hyena male. What is that? Okay,
so in the animal kingdom, the hierarchy with hyenas, you see what I'm saying, the women are bigger than the males. The women run the show. Whereas, whereas in a pride, in a lion pride, it's the male lion.
Of course.
And it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? Without the male lion, the pride dies. So in the hierarchy, when it comes to hyenas, you got the woman, and then what's so cold about it, her mate, if the female hyena dies, her mate doesn't become the leader of the pack. You see what I'm saying? He has to submit to the next alpha female. You see what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. They're bigger. You see what I'm saying? More aggressive. And that's how our community is. That's how the Black community is, or that's how the West is. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of hyena males. What's so cold about it? We all sitting around chopping game. And so they was like, hey, Betancourt, man, where you gonna take a girl out on your first date? I said, nowhere. And they was like, they was like, what? You know what I mean? They was like, you ain't gonna take her to Papados? I said, take her to Papados for what? What has she done to her?
Exactly.
Taking her to I said, look, if she really fools with me, we can be sitting on my balcony. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly, kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
We can just sit on my balcony, chopping game. You see what I'm saying? And leave it at that and have a good old time. I said, and this is where y'all go wrong. Y'all sitting there taking these women out on these expensive ass dates, and it's not the date in and of itself. It's just the point that men feel as though they have to leave with their wallets. Only to take this woman out, show her a good time. She comes back, gives him a kiss on the cheek. You see what I'm saying? Then she called him a passport guard.
You heard?
So the women, they just frowned up their faces and said, okay, this dude was like, man, you ain't gonna get no pussy like that. I said, man, if that's what it's all about, I don't want it. Like, I don't want, I said, if I gotta do all of this, it's not even a fair exchange. Now,
you see where their mind is at, though. They focus on the box. All they want is to get the box.
About it between me and you, passport guy. Well, I mean, this for everybody listening, but after monk mode, because I'm still trying to master non-ejaculatory orgasms. I'm not there yet. But when I say I don't come. I don't even want to. You see what I'm saying? Because semen retention allows me to operate on a higher frequency. You see what I'm saying? So I do my best. You see what I'm saying? I take pills, whatever, to not come. You see what I'm saying? Just because of the fact that it's just I'm done with the nut chasing. You have a lot to do, and okay, for example, like how I said earlier, like how I was talking about earlier when I said I'm not mad at feminism, I'm not mad at at women. You see what I'm saying? Capitalizing off their beauty on IG and Twitter and all. Man, I'm all for it.
Get your bread,
but what's so cold about it? I'm trying to like, okay, you about to do your little business, right? You know about fans only and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on fans only, yeah, only whatever it's called, OnlyFans, Chatterbait. This one wrestler, her name is Tammy Lynn Stitch. You see what I'm saying? You know she made 100 large off of OnlyFans a month.
Wow.
But the dudes that are on that site, she's not interested in them in the slightest.
Of course not.
You see what I'm saying? And this is what I'm trying to tell guys. There's a couple of pages that I have on IG, and one is called Chimpanzees. And you look at these girls like, don't get me wrong, they're specimens. You know, right. just showing everything that Allah gave them. And you could tell that he broke the mold with these women because they're just beautiful. But it's just the fact that you have 1 million something likes, all of these comments, no replies, mind you.
Wow.
No replies, just 1 million. And these aren't troll accounts. These are real people. I'm just like, damn, she ain't paying y'all a lick of attention. But this is what I'm all about. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, no. These dudes, you gotta remember, like these dudes also grew up in like, you know, the porn culture. You know what I mean? Where they just satisfied with just a chick on the screen. They don't really believe that she's gonna reply and all that. You know what I mean? That's another thing. Dudes have such low standards. Dudes have such low standards that they're just okay with liking the picture. Because I was talking to my younger brother and my nephew, and I was like, yo, we need to start a campaign, man, where, you know, we have dudes just don't like no pictures on Instagram of none of these chicks, man. I was like, yo, you could look at it, go ahead, you could look at them, whatever, just don't like it. And I remember I got into a debate with them, like, they were like, yo, I mean, I don't see what the big deal in liking. I'm like, yo, because they get attention and they gonna feel like this, and you got 100 other dudes doing it, blah, blah, blah. So if dudes just don't do it, but nah, man, it's just a like. And I'm looking like,
it's not just like attention. Attention is a form of currency.
But that's what I was saying in that debate, and they could not see it. They don't value their own attention. Pretty much is what I'm saying. They don't see it as value. So what I was saying to them was like, yo, bro, you're making a big deal out of nothing. And it's like, that's what the problem is. Y'all dudes is staying focused on just getting the box. Y'all, they don't look past the beauty. All they see is beauty. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. They can't control themselves, man.
What's so cool about it? You know that picture that you should be your number 2, right?
Yeah.
I said this is the template going forward. So I would never come into the chat. And King Fee, he watched. Well, he was watching. Well, anyways, I would never, because he knew about this one John. I call her Executive Bay. You see what I'm saying? He got Principal Bay. I had Executive Bay. You see what I'm saying? But the point is that when I got her, I said, okay, cool. This is the standard going forward. When you put that picture of your number 2, I said, I'm not dealing with nothing less. I'm not dealing with nothing less.
You traveled the world. You know that there are many beautiful women on this planet. Why not? You know
what's so cool about it? Not only is beauty subjective. I mean, granted, there are traits that women need to have for her to qualify as beautiful in my mind. But it's just the fact that the modern man just is like, okay, cool. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna roll out the red carpet. A woman has to bring more to the table than pussy and problems.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't have no issues whatsoever with fulfilling my role. I don't. I was created to control the control, but I do have an issue with, and a lot of women are like, it's not even about the women, it's about the men. They allow these women because the women want the ring, but they don't want the responsibility. And it's these men allowing them to get away with it.
Right.
On Facebook, I keep all of this stuff as receipts on Facebook, right? If you want to get a girl upset, you don't even got to call her a bitch anymore. You don't have to call her a cunt or a twat. All you got to do is say the word submission. And she's flying up the walls. You see what I'm saying? So a girl I went to school with said something about submission, right? Boom. It became a hot topic after that. And this one dude, he was a clown. I made it a point to put him out there. He was talking about some men need to learn that they had to submit to. I said, okay, I'm Muslim. In no Abrahamic text does it say that a man has to submit to his wife. It says honor her. It says guide her. It says protect her, but it doesn't say anything about submission. So I said that this is where they go wrong nowadays. It's about polarities. Even in in non-alternative, even in alternative families, right? When you have same-sex couples, it's still about polarities. I don't really know too many bull daggers that are dating other bull daggers. They're dating feminine women. I don't really know too many, gay dudes that are dating. I don't know too many tops dating each other or bottoms dating each other. It doesn't work like that. It's all about polarities. So that means the masculine is attracted to the feminine and vice versa.
That's a fact.
Oh man, this right here, if I had a Patreon, I'd be like, look, this is too much free game. You know what I'm saying? The passport God has been dropping jewels. And not only that, I'm about to go back on to what you were saying, and I've been talking about this for years. It was a picture is worth 1,000 words, but an experience is worth 1,000 pictures. I've been saying it for years. I'm plagiarizing it. I don't care. That's how profound it was.
Yeah, I think I did a recent video on that, man. Yeah, so that's the truth, man. Like when you really think about it, like an experience, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but an experience worth 1,000 pictures, man. When I first heard that, it's like a mini explosion in my brain, man, because it's just so true. Because and another way I can say that is when I say there are things that I've experienced that because I experienced there are things that I experienced that if I didn't experience it, me going back to my 25-year-old self, 23-year-old self, I can understand. Yeah, I can understand why I wouldn't believe it or why I wouldn't understand it. I had to go through that experience. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people to go out there and just experience life, whatever it is, man. And what the reason why people don't experience life the way they should is simply because of fear. I mean, they fear many things. I could break down a lot of things, but watching this TV and listening to other people besides that voice in your head. I mean, matter of fact, that voice in your head can eventually get hacked. Now, I mean, you got to realize you a supercomputer, man. Like that's one of the things I learned from all my studies, as a having a biology degree and going through medical school and all that, man. One of the things I learned, one of the things I've came to the conclusion, I should say, I ain't learned this because they didn't teach this to me. I mean, this goes to being highly intelligent. But people gotta release, man. Gotta realize that humans are really like not even a supercomputer is not even the word. Like we're like a super android, man. The way our body works and all that. I'm not gonna get into it. Anybody who's a biologist or or has a degree understands how well the body and how efficient the body is. It's just that our body is not fully. All our systems ain't on right now. You know what I'm saying? The saying how they say, we only use 10% of our brain. When in all actuality, the real thing is we only use 10% of our brain at a given time. You know what I'm saying? So if we was actually able to activate, let's say 50% of your brain at a given time, you'd be damn near like Superman. But anyway, see, I went off track. What was I saying? Because I'm talking about how super we are.
Yeah, you was talking about how we're supercomputers.
Yeah, we're supercomputers, and now I forgot the reason why we're supercomputers, but this is it. People have fears and all that, and you can get hacked. That's why I say you can get hacked. People can start putting programming in your head. You know what I'm saying? And then you start believing what you're hearing. So once you start experiencing things, you start hearing what people are talking about. You like, hold on, that's not true. I actually went over there or I actually did this, and it's not what you're talking. It's not as bad as you're making it. You know what I mean? So experience life, stop having fear. You know what I mean? In doing so, it's also going to build your confidence. You know what I mean? Another reason why people aren't experiencing life as these boys, these grown males, afraid to be men. Because one of the things to being a man is being responsible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to be able to be accountable and responsible, and having it growing up with that feminine energy, they're not ready for that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? They quick to point the finger.
Do you know how many times? And this is why I've never been the type to not hold myself accountable. So I give myself a pat on the back for that, because I didn't even know what unaccountability was until I started dealing with women. You see what I'm saying? I was like. Because that's his. I'm like, damn, you know what? I messed up here. I did that. You see what I'm saying? That's just the way I was. So I'd be like, damn. I was like, man. In my head, I'm thinking like, is this all women or is this just her? And I was like, women have a hive mentality, so I'm thinking that it's all women. But one thing that I wanted that's very important to me, right? Tell me 5 things that you think that all men should strive to be, or what all men should strive to learn. And this is for, because we're growing, and iron sharpens iron. So that's why our group is the way it is. But I'm talking about, like I said, it's not about us because we're already set in stone. I'm talking about the next generations. My son and his generation and generation after that. What do you think are 5 things that they should be striving for?
5 things you should be striving for. Well, first thing that comes to my mind, number 1, like I emphasize on my channel, is to know thyself, man. A lot of these young boys, even these grown males, really don't even know themselves because they've been programmed, whether it be by their mother, by their friends, by TV, by their music they listen to. I mean, some of these dudes, doing lean and doing all types of drugs or whatever, getting tattoos or whatever, and that's not even really them. I mean, they're just doing it just to try to fit in. I mean, so to know thyself is to know thy God. So I would say number 1 off the top of my head is definitely strive to know yourself. So number 2, after knowing thyself, I think what could piggyback off that, number 2, I would say learn to deal with your traumas, man. Like that's big, and just not just for men, but for humans in general. You gotta deal with your traumas, especially your childhood traumas. A lot of us, grew up with no fathers, or even if we did grow up with father, whether you got bullied or whatever it was, whatever it is, even traumas, even traumas as an adult. You know what I mean? Like whether it be deaths, I'm seeing people, passing away, whatever the case may be, things that you planned for not working out the way you wanted to, like myself being dismissed from med school. You know what I mean? So at the time I looked at it as a traumatic experience, and in a sense it is, because it changed my life, but I was able to get over it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, it would have crushed a lot of people, believe me when I tell you. So number 1, know thyself. Number 2, be able to deal with your traumas, man, so you can get over that, and that'll help you to get to know your real self. You know what I'm saying? Number 3, I would say be the type of person that strives to, that I was going to say one, but I'm going to say it like this. Number 3, I would say not even try, be a person who strives to gain knowledge, and apply it. You know what I'm saying? Because, they say knowledge is power, but really the saying should be, or is, knowledge is power when applied. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be do with all the knowledge, but if you're sitting in the corner like a mute doing nothing, then what's the point of all that knowledge? You know what I'm saying? So be a person that strives to gain knowledge, because if you're a person that strives to gain knowledge and you actually do attain knowledge on a consistent basis, all these questions about how do I get a chick's number? How do I talk to this person? How do I this? How do I that? Basically, getting a mouthpiece wouldn't be a problem, because I've realized that mouthpiece is basically somebody having knowledge. It doesn't have to be a vast amount of knowledge of the world, but I'm saying, let's say somebody has knowledge on health and fitness. That's something that you can use a mouthpiece on when you talk to anybody. Like, hey man, I saw you, jogging this way, but the way the form you was running, it could kind of hurt your lower. Now you're starting a conversation with somebody, you know what I mean? Or whatever, if you're somebody who loves food, you know what I mean? You could be at the supermarket or whatever, talking to somebody. So, or even at a job interview, there's so many places that you can use your mouthpiece, which is really knowledge of, you know what I'm saying, of whatever that you can use in order to gain access to different parts of this life in this world. That's number 3. Number 4, I would say, we're talking about for young boys, right? Young boys and grown males growing up. To be honest, I would say number 4, because I think this is a problem for a lot of males out here, because in my belief, a lot of men already kind of get this. But number 4, I would say, learn female nature, man. Learn the opposite sex. Like they're actually more of them than us. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Way more, you know what I mean? Numbers wise. So whether it be, because again, from knowing your mouthpiece and knowing female nature, that goes again. If you have a mouthpiece and you know female nature, then that could work for you in the supermarket. That could work for you at the job interview. That could work for you at the cashier register or at the wherever you at. If you're, you know, even if you're a waiter or a bartender, you know what I mean? Different ways that you could use that.
Having a
And when I say,
mouthpiece is universal. It doesn't apply. You know, being able to break a woman down is a byproduct of you having a mouthpiece. So
exactly.
this is what I try to tell people, and I want to piggyback on what you said about female nature. Understanding it is that this is why I try to tell men. I'm like, hey, become the best version of yourself first. Master female nature. You see what I'm saying? Get to know its nuances, because what's going to happen is, you know, they can go on YouTube and buy these programs from these dating coaches and learn how to get these girls. They're going to get these girls, and these girls are going to run them through the ringer. Then they're right back at square one. You see what I'm saying? Hating life. So like you said, understand female nature. That's number 4.
And listen, when I say female nature, when I say female nature, we're not just talking about, you know, chicks you dealing with. Female nature includes your moms, your sister, your aunt, your cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, people be forgetting that part, especially your moms.
Let me. I hate to interject, Passport.
Go ahead, man.
Because my mother, right? So we went to Houston. Houston's my second home. That's where my daughter stays. Now, when I tell you, when I got in the group, I it's akin to a snake shedding its skin. That means I turned my back. I did a complete 180 on whatever it was I did before I came to the group, for risk of being excommunicated. You see what I'm saying? This group isn't just a group to me. It's a living template for how men should conduct themselves. Some of the stuff I feel funny talking about it now, because y'all gonna like, damn, this how you used to roll. So, make a long story short, I was in Houston and I went to go see my mother was out there, her husband was out there. I call him my father. You see what I'm saying? So me, my father, my mother, my son, we all went out to Houston to go see my daughter. So, you know, my son was acting up, whatever. So I pop him, whatever, and tell him about himself. My mother, she doesn't think about what she's doing, but she's trying to question me. And I was like, hey, look, I got this. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. These are my kids. And she's steadily trying to, you know, question me in front of my children. I was like, hey, look, I'll let you slide with that before, but I'm not going to roll with this. You see what I'm saying? Then she just sit there, run her mouth, whatever. I'm there, ground. There's all this other. I was like, man, I ain't got no time for all that. So we come back home. I felt some type of way about it. So we come back home, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go to my mother and say, hey, look, I didn't appreciate this. She played me like I was a sucker. You see what I'm saying? She played me like I was a sucker. Was like, So I said, oh, really? Cool. So I said, hey, well, you know what? Until you can respect me, you know, as an adult, until you can come correct, we don't have to speak. You see what I'm saying? You know, concentrate on your relationship with your grandson, with your granddaughter. But me and you, it doesn't matter if we don't talk at all after this day. You see what I'm saying? And I stood on that just because of the fact that she thinks it's cool because she's my mother. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be disrespected by anybody. And this is another thing that I hate about our community, because in our community, the black man is demonized and the black woman is deified. I'm not saying that the black woman is deified. I'm not saying that a black woman shouldn't be, you see what I'm saying, venerated. What I'm saying is she shouldn't be put on a pedestal above her man. If you look at any other culture, the warrior class is respected above all else. And you know, in our community, you see what I'm saying, we are seen as attack dogs, package mules.
Same thing with my aunt, man. I only have one aunt on my. Actually, I only have one aunt now that I really think about it, because my mom has a half sister, but besides that, my one aunt that lives like a borough away from me. You know what I mean? We had a conversation. She just kept cutting me off, and I'm like, yo, auntie, like, yo, you keep cutting me off. She's like, well, how you expect me to talk? Like, you expect me like have you finished talking with? You expect me to have you finish saying what you're saying? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I forgot what she said, but she said something to me that made me realize, like, yo, she still talk to me like I'm a little boy. She look at me like I'm a little boy. And the same thing that you said, I was like, yo, until you learn how to speak to me like I'm a man, we don't need to speak. It's been about 6 years, fam.
I'll be actually in her mind, she's looking at it like, I don't see what the big deal was. They don't understand, you know. And the pimp God said it best. You know, this applies to relationship with women, period. It was like, if a woman does not appreciate your presence, she's going to have to respect your absence. I was perfectly fine with being like, okay, cool. not talking to my mother at all. She had to come apologizing, and even then, our relationship is still not on good terms, just because she still be trying a little slick stuff. If there's something that happens pertaining to our son, or me and my wife's son, or my daughter, whatever, she doesn't come to me with it first. She goes out of her way to do some little slick off the wall stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Let's not get too far off track. But number 4 was you talking about learning males, about young men learning female nature. What's
right. So to recount before we get to the last one, we said number 1, to know thyself, to know thy God. You said number 2, to know thyself, to know thy God. I said number 2 was
learning from your traumas, healing.
Exactly, healing your traumas. Number 3 was, let me see if you remember number 3. Number 3 was after healing traumas, right before know thyself. All right, I don't remember number 3. Y'all can listen to it, because I'm freestyling. You know what I'm saying? We ain't writing none of this down, so I'm remember what the fuck was number 3? Know thyself.
It'll come back to me as soon as you get back on number 5.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 4 I said was what we just spoke about, no female nature. Oh, number 3 number 3 was attain knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Strive for knowledge.
The application of it. Okay.
Yeah, strive for knowledge and apply it, man. Number 4 was what we just said, no female nature. And number 5, what I would say for grown males and men listening to this, man, something that you should strive for that I don't think is spoken about enough, that I can attest, and I know that the War Report can also attest to. You should strive to travel the world. Traveling the world, or traveling period, especially out of your own country, is life-changing. It gives you a broader perspective on what the world really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll realize, like, it's kind of like you're in a box if you just stay where you at. Once you step out of the box, you know what I'm saying, you cross a couple of oceans or whatever the case may be, that's when you start seeing from different angles, you know what I mean? And you start being able to draw a different picture. You know what I mean? Like War Report, you know what I mean? We speak multiple languages, and you realize once you speak multiple languages, you realize like there's a different frequency, if for lack of a better term, when you start speaking these different languages and interacting with different cultures. You know what I mean? Like you attest a War Report that you could say a joke in a foreign language, but if you say it in English, it don't got the same vibe. It don't come off the same. You know what I'm saying?
Because you understanding a person's culture opens up doors that otherwise wouldn't have been open. So like you said, when you could tell a joke in their language, you see what I'm saying, their dialect, they're gonna be like, okay, cool, he's with us, he's one of us.
Exactly.
Now. You know, I don't. What's so cold about it? I haven't experienced racism. Not saying that racism isn't prevalent outside the U.S. because there'll be a damn lie. But me personally, I've seen racism through other people. I mean, I've seen them be racist to other people, but no other ethnicity was ever racist towards me. I was always the exception to the rule. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking Korea, I'm talking all over Europe, I'm talking the Middle East, I'm talking Central, South America, Africa, whatever. You said, well, nah, what's so cold about it, Africa, we was in Djibouti. One thing I would say, man, them white dudes, they be getting some, and when white dudes with black girls, they don't be getting no regular ass, they be getting the bad jumps. You see what I'm saying? Stupid, we was in Djibouti, stupid, dumb booty. You see what I'm saying? Wake up in the morning, go outside, stop in traffic. That's how bad these jumps were. You see what I'm saying? They was like, oh yeah, we prefer French, man. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm just like, damn, that's how you going. And it'd be the corny looking white. I'm like, if it was a Everett Overton or something, I could sit back and say, hey, you know what? I can see why you chose him.
Right.
I'm not hating, but it'd be the corny. His name is Brad.
It's the programming. You said it. You said it. You said that. Say it again. I'm sorry. Their culture. What?
The creatures of culture.
Creatures of culture. So in that culture, that's what it is.
And what's so cold about it, man? And because my five are in addition to yours, because yours in and of itself, that's the starter kit. You know, you can't. And the thing about being a man, right? I want to make this very clear, is that for whatever reason, and this is what I hated about that Gillette commercial, because they took the worst examples of men and said, okay, this is how all men are. They generalized this. You see what I'm saying? They didn't talk about the guys who built civilization. They're not talking about the guys who fought world wars. You see what I'm saying? So that everybody can have the freedoms that they now have. All they want to talk about is the worst of men. So, you know, me, how I operate, I don't have to walk around like you say your father. I don't have to be like, hey, you got to respect me. No, I command respect, because I'm not tolerating anything less. You see what I'm saying? I walk around with big stick energy just because that's just the way it's gonna be. Like you're gonna have to respect me, or I'm willing to lay on my shield if need be. You see what I'm saying? I refuse.
We have the same ilk in that sense.
I refuse. So I would say my first, and this is in no particular order, but first and foremost, man, because you know my generation, you know the millennials, you know we got hit hard, especially when it comes to that internet porn. I be telling dudes, man, and I didn't even know it was that much of an addiction until I found out about forums, and I seen men that were struggling with it, because I knew I didn't like it, and I knew I struggled with it for years. And I said, damn. So I tell men, and these are grown men, mind you. I say, look, you gotta leave the nasty movies alone, man. You have to leave the nasty, like until, and it's not even about the porn in and of itself. It's about the lack of self-control.
Right.
That you can't stop watching nasty movies and beating your junk.
But hold on, just to tap into that real quick. It even goes even deep into that, fam. It goes into the psyche, because real talk, like, yo, yeah, this is some deep shit, yo. It goes into the psyche because one, when somebody watches, you know what I'm saying, the triple X movies all the time, they get accustomed to their mind, their dopamine receptors get accustomed to being turned on by something digital and not something real. So that when something real is in front of them, they stick ain't even working.
Not even that, right? Go ahead. Not even that, right? To piggyback on what you said, absolutely right. And this is why I couldn't really fool with the underworld like that. It's because what happens is, like you said, you're accustomed to watching stuff that's digital, but after a while, your dopamine receptors are used to you watching the same old nasty movie. So you're like, okay, now I had to watch something more extreme. Then you get used to that. Now I had to watch something more extreme. Then you get used to that. Now I had to watch something even more extreme. You see what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
And you talking to a person that, you know, that this is the longest that I've ever been without watching nasty movies and beat my junk. You see what I'm saying? I pat myself on the back with that, just because I like it's so go ahead.
How long you been on monk mode?
Monk mode since my birthday. So that was 20th of January. You see what I'm saying? So I haven't slipped up since. And I'm not going back.
Wow.
And what's so cool about it?
How you feeling, man? Wow, that's what's up, man. Yo,
I feel like a demigod.
I was gonna say you feel like a god. That's what I said in my head. I was like, let me ask him though. I'm telling you, man. How'd I know that? Because dudes don't be listening, man.
Like a demigod amongst men, and this is why I told you, like, until I master this non-ejaculatory orgasms, like she be trying to, like you said, how old girl be clapping, and I do this on purpose. Here's the game. You know, I am studying under King Fee, so I do know a little bit of finesse game. But here's the game. You know how when you say old girl was clapping when she could make you come?
Yeah.
I'm saying the same thing with my wife. Now I make it a point, like I'm like, nah, I'm not even going. I'm just not. And then now she's complex. She's like, well, I don't know what's wrong with her and this. And I'm like, who said anything was wrong? I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah, I ain't complaining. Yeah, we good.
So she's going out of her way. She's trying her hardest. You see what I'm saying? She's into it too, because she's like, I'm gonna make you.
Exactly. It's a game. Exactly. It becomes a game for them. These dudes don't realize you could make a chick make it a game to make you. Oh, come on, fam. Y'all don't understand, man. It's a game. She's gonna. Y'all dudes, man. I swear, man. I want to smack some of these dudes in the back of their neck, man. It's so easy.
So like I said, mastering, you know, getting that self-control and just turning away from the, you know, just it's oh man, it's to the point now where like how you were saying, how liking pictures on Instagram, I don't even do that. I'll be that one dude in the comment section saying, hey, nice grass. You see what I'm saying? Or all the other dudes are talking about the bathing suit she wears. I don't even pay attention. And it's not, I'm not trying to be spiteful or it's not ulterior. It's just I'm so focused on my legacy. I'm so focused on transcendence that, you know, it does, like I said, your number two, her and girls better than that are the template. So if a joke come my way and she's not on that level, she's not even on my radar. That's just off bucks.
Exactly, because you already focused on what you're doing anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I had jokes like that before. My wife, she's not the baddest I've ever had. She's not the fattest I've ever had. She's the most compliant. You see what I'm saying? And that goes a long way.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
So like I said, number one.
But hold on, real quick, just to tap real quick to go deeper into the triple X joint, real quick to the psyche. But what I realize is it goes even deeper in the sense like, you know what cuckolding is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So
I know some.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. So for those that don't know, it's basically, you know, two people having sex or a couple people having sex where a dude is watching. You know what I'm saying? So I think that stems from watching the triple X. Because to me, cuckolding is basically live triple X. If you really think about it. Because the dude might be like, yeah, I want you to smash my wife. That's basically he wants to see his wife in a porn. You know what I mean? He some of them even tape it. Am I lying? Some of them even tape the cuckolding. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they want to see the porn live. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn. So that's how deep it goes, man. To the point where one, you have a chick live with you and you can't even get your stick working, or two, to the point where you want to see somebody that you feeling your chick getting smashed by another dude. Like, it's crazy, man. Oh, and the third thing is too. Last thing I realized. Dudes be talking that no homo this, no homo that, but you do realize when you watching these triple X movies, you're looking at another dude's penis, right? There's another dude's penis, unless you're watching only chicks on chicks type of deals. But besides that,
or the point of view jump. So all you see is a woman getting bust. Like
right.
I don't even. It's been so long. I don't even know what it's like. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm completely that chapter of my life is done. You see what I'm saying? So now looking back, I'm like, how was it ever an issue for me? So, oh man, you just took it back to where I saw a dude, they call them bulls. Like, so a cuckold, right? If a dude gets another man to bust his wife, that man is called a bull. You see what I'm saying? I saw a dude, his name was Achilles. And if you saw him, he was like, okay, I see why you call him that. You see what I'm saying? Like he was Achilles through and through. And he was busting this dude's wife so tough, right? You see what I'm saying? And I saw it too. Was so cold about it because in my head I was thinking like, I don't think she's like that with him. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no.
So the next couple of times it got to the point where she didn't even want her husband in the same room with them. I said, boy, it's a rap form. It's a rap form. She said she didn't even want them in the room together. That's how you knew that they had whatever. Achilles was laying at work. So yeah, man, you know, all men should be like, look, you see what I'm saying? That. So I was getting into it with she's a sex therapist, a psychologist, whatever, was trying to I said, look, I'm not listening to no female tell me that watching nasty movies is okay or I should watch. I said, no, what benefit does it have? None. So I'm good.
Exactly.
So number one was, you know, abstaining from nasty movies and masturbation, or more to the point, the unhealthy form of masturbation. Because in tantra, there's a healthy way you do it, and the way you're doing it is edging. You're doing it to transmute.
Right.
You're not doing it because when you're doing it regular, you try to hurry up and finish, and that retrains your ejaculatory reflex. So in tantra, you're doing it in a healthy manner. So masturbation in and of itself isn't bad. It's just how you're doing it. So I urge all men to, you know, abstain from porn. Number two, as men, we were made to patrol and control. So you had to know some form of martial art.
Good one.
I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's kung fu. I don't care if it's karate. You know, you something tang sudo, hapkido, whatever. You something. You have to know some form of martial art. It 10x's your confidence to know that. To know that it does though. It's a force multiplier. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there have been times where I've been in the streets. You know how dudes are disrespectful. You got a nice little piece of change, you see what I'm saying? And you with it. If a dude, you know, dudes that don't care, they gonna say something, you see what I'm saying? But if you got if they know in the streets, power respects power. It's just like in the wild, the strong prey on the weak. So you see what I'm saying? If another man says, okay, I'm not gonna mess with Passport God because I know he's a lion, then that's the end of the conversation right there. So if they see you in the bricks with a nice little piece of change, they're not gonna say nothing or risk the consequences. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
A lot of these dudes days are soft. Soft.
I mean, I did a video on that, man.
Soft.
I did a video on that, man. I was saying like one of the things that dude, I think I called it, can you take a punch? That's what I called it.
That one.
Yeah, can you take a punch, man? And what I mean by that is back to that fear. A lot of dudes walk around with fear or got, you know what I'm saying, that you know, got them weapons on them because they can't take a punch, you know, they can't fight. And one of the things I said in that video is that you have to learn how to defend yourself. And in defending yourself, you know, that's learning some type of martial arts or some type of self-defense class, whatever. And in doing so, like War Report said, that tenfolds, hundredfolds your confidence. Because you know that if it gets down to it, if you have to, you know, get down to the fisticuffs, you can handle yourself. And in doing so, you know what I'm saying, you walk around with a certain type of energy. And I mean, where, you know, dudes in the streets, like he was saying, could just get that energy. Like, and you got to be real about it too. You can't just be a dude. Now, let me just say this. Once you learn self-defense or martial arts, it's going to be real. You know what I mean? If once you get past white belt or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, past that first stage and you serious, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're going to walk around with that air of energy, not on some cockiness, but on some like, you know what, if it goes down, like I can handle myself. And that's huge, you know what I'm saying, being a man. And for you dudes, you know, always concerned about females, yeah, females can sense that too. Because they want somebody who's able to protect them and all that. And a dude who has that, you know, martial arts in them, you know what I mean, that background where they could, yo, War Report, real talk, there's a lot of dudes out here who don't even know how to throw a punch, fam. Real talk. You assume a lot, like, dudes know the basics. Nah, watch these fights, these street fights and whatever that you be seeing on World Star, whatever. These dudes don't know how to throw a punch, fam. Because even if they connect, they're going to break their hands and all that because they be punching with their thumbs out and all that. Like, but anyway, man. Yeah, definitely learn self-defense, man. Some type of martial arts. That's a great number 2.
So, and another thing about my motto is peace through strength. You see what I'm saying? I'm a peaceful man. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather talk things out. Like real men only fight when there's no other recourse. You see what I'm saying? We're supposed to be able to sit down and settle our differences. Disrespect isn't tolerated, yeah, but I don't have to fight unless there's no other recourse. So that's what I stress. And this piggybacks into it's another thing that's a force multiplier. That's
real quick. There's a saying that goes. Somebody else said this. It's an old saying. It says, "I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war." Exactly.
That was one of the first videos that I saw from Richard. I think it's Richard Cooper. You see, when I came to the Manosphere, that was one of the first videos that I saw. And I got a dude who I grew up with. He's a perfect example of the typical, he's a pajama boy. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't, like, first and foremost, I don't want to hear no black dude talking about anti-2A. If you are a black man and you don't believe in the Second Amendment, there's nothing we need to discuss. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's just say I'm good. You see what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
even if they said, okay, we got a ban on firearms, I can get medieval. I can I can pull out the cutlass. I can pull out the katana. I got shuriken. I got kunai. I got, you see what I'm saying, actual maces with the spikes on them. You see what I'm saying? I got the Freddy Krueger, man, whatever. And that's just because if it has to get this way, I will take it there. You see what I'm saying? And
from my picture, you could tell I'm not against the Second Amendment, fam. Man, no problem.
And I said that should be the whole picture. It shouldn't even be cropped out. When you put that on there, right? You say, hey, look, I got these 3 pictures I want. I said I want that one. That was the one I chose because it was that one. It was another one like with a red background, and then it was I said no, I want that one because it means so many different things.
Yeah, exactly. Facts.
So many different things, and like I said, peace through strength. So another thing that I think is really important. And you could talk about my military background, and maybe this has a part to play in it, but it's just being able to survive in a doomsday scenario. You see what I'm saying? Now, a guy that I was in the army with, he was from Eastern Europe, and I think it was I don't know if he's from like Yugoslavia, one of those countries. It's not even you call Yugoslavia, Serbia or Kosovo, one of those countries.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, it was all called Yugoslavia, but it was 5 different countries in one. So he's from one of those countries that was the former Yugoslavia. And he was just telling me about, he was a beast. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to like forging, you know, his map reading skills, all of that stuff. And I was like, damn, like how, I don't know any of this. He was like, when I was growing up, we didn't have a stable government. You know, I survived, you know, he was like, not only did we didn't have no running water, we didn't have no electricity. You see what I'm saying? He was like, the government was unstabilized. So we had to live on our own. So I was like, whoa, you know, before him, I didn't know about underground bunkers. I didn't know about how to make a bug out kit, all of these other things. So what the pandemic taught me, and what I've been trying to tell people for years, like if I could pan around my house right now, you would see water, you see what I'm saying, stocked up. You would see meals ready to eat, stocked up. You would see weapons. You know, I have hard currency, i.e. gold, silver, stuff like that. But the point is that if there was a natural disaster, another one, if there was a financial collapse, you see what I'm saying, me and my family are good. And this is what I try to tell people, man, because they under this illusion that the government will protect them. I'm like, man, look at Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? Like we are not that far removed from being like that, man. And people get they get too complacent. They get comfortable. They get comfortable. So I'm like, all right, so the first 3, like I said, stop watching nasty movies, you know, learn self-defense. You see what I'm saying? Learn how to live off the land, be on some John Wick type stuff. That's another thing that, like I said, I didn't
piggyback off the last one you just said, survival. So even so, just to piggyback off what you just said, even on a smaller scale, dudes don't even know how to cook for themselves, family.
They don't.
We're talking about with the supermarkets. I'm talking before the pandemic and everything. Dudes don't even know how to cook for themselves, man. They may know how to fry some eggs, you know what I mean? But besides that, you know what I mean, they can't do for themselves. They don't know how to wash their clothes, you know, the correct way, and this, that, and the third, and or how to mop their house or wherever they live at. You know what I'm saying?
As a man, you have to be self-sufficient. What's so called about, you know, you want to know how I learned how to cook?
From watching your moms?
Nah, not even. You see what I'm saying? Because back then, you know, because my generation, we were given a pass. You see what I'm saying? Like we didn't have to do we didn't have to do what was expected of us as the generation before did. Like the modern woman, she doesn't really know how to cook because she wasn't forced to cook. You see what I'm saying? If she didn't feel like it, her parents like, oh, okay, just go do what you want to do. But when I was in a can, you see what I'm saying? Like a lot of dudes, they really knew how, because the reason why I say learn how to cook is because you don't really have access to all of these ingredients, but they would be able to make 5-star meals, you see what I'm saying, out of the simplest ingredients. Like, have you ever had a spread before, a jailhouse spread?
Nah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, remember when Prodigy got out and he had like a book and it was just based off of what he learned when he was locked up?
Right, yeah.
I'm telling you, because in prison, it preserves your body. I'm not advocating.
I believe that. I had a man, my man's, you know what I'm saying, God rest the dead. Yeah, when I seen him, every time I seen him, he was getting more brolic and brolic. I was like, yo, fam, what you eating, fam? He was looking healthy.
It preserves your body, man. So like you said, knowing how to cook, man, you know, a man has to be self-sufficient above anything.
Yeah, clean your bathroom. Know how to clean your bathroom. You know, things like that, man.
Man, you know I don't leave the house unless it's clean.
You know what I'm saying?
House unless it's everything. I start from my bedroom all the way to the living room. Everything has to be clean. I do this daily to install the habit. So number one was abstaining, not even just using porn. Let's just put it on a grand scale, just abstaining from trying to nut chase. Because when you're watching porn, that's what it's going to lead you to do. You sound that has carryovers, because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with a woman, she doesn't like women they have radars for this. You see what I'm saying? When a woman interacts with me, they can feel my energy. When a woman interacts with you, they can feel your energy. It doesn't seem needy and pressed. You see what I'm saying? Number 2, learn how to defend yourself. It 10x's your confidence. You see what I'm saying? Number 3, learning how to survive. You see what I'm saying? That survivalism is a real big deal.
Facts.
It's a real big deal. And another one that I want to say is very important, and it was something that you talked about earlier, was like, knowing thyself. And when I say that, I'm talking about from a grand scale, in a sense of me being a melanated man. I had to learn my true history. And I had to
I
learn my
like that.
history. Now, growing up, I didn't have see in NYC, the conscious community is bigger. Now,
Yes.
here we have a movement, and one of my mentors, I call him the master teacher, but he's unapologetic with it. You see what I'm saying? A lot of his stuff is real extreme. You see what I'm saying? His name is Kemetic. Now, the reason why I study him is because he does not fear, like he says things that other people will come back on social media and would apologize for. He's like, nah, I said it, and what? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And from a logical standpoint, when I started to do my history and found out about the ancient Nubias, the ancient Kemets, you see what I'm saying, and just where we came from. You see what I'm saying? Where we came from, and it all started to make sense. Knowing thyself, like once I got knowledge of self, I wasn't looking back anymore. I wasn't looking back anymore.
Let me to tap into that. That's another great point, man. Yo, this is a fire episode, man. Real talk. Yeah. To add on to that, I would say 100%, because even with myself, as far as knowing yourself, yeah, I was talking in the spiritual sense, but he's 100%, because once you know yourself in that aspect of who you are in the physical sense, you know what I mean, on this planet, in this world, your history, you know what I mean. This says established 1804. Okay, for those who don't know, established 1804 is referring to the Haitian Revolution in Haiti receiving, you know what I'm saying, their independence. You know what I mean? Basically breaking away from slavery, from the institution of slavery. And I've said this before, you know, once I learned their history in 4th, 5th grade in school, in a book, not from my parents. First of all, I was shocked that it was true, because I went to my parents, like I said before, I went to my parents like, is this true? And they're like, yeah, it's true. And I remember looking at them like, well, why didn't you never tell me this? Like, this is huge. Like, we first to end slavery. They're like, yeah. I'm like 10 years old, like, yo, you making it seem like it's nothing. But anyway, I say that to say, learning that gave me a lot of confidence, right? Gave me a lot of confidence by 10 years old. Like, yo, I'm Haitian, yo, like, yo. And at that time, they're calling us Haitian booty scratchers and all that. And I'm looking at them like, yo, y'all don't know who we are? Like, but then I had to realize, like, I can't blame them, because even I didn't know until I was like 10 years old, and I got Haitian parents. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward to me being in college, right? We talk about history. I remember there was like a ancient African history convention, or whatever the case may be. And I purchased this book called The Nile Valley Civilization by Anthony Browder.
Hey, hold on, wait. Before you continue, do you know Anthony Browder is headquartered in DC? Him and his daughter.
Nah. I didn't know that. See?
Because he has this course. He has like a journal called like the Nile Law in DC, and in the parallels between Washington DC and ancient
and the Kemet.
You see what I'm saying? And so yeah, so man, hey, like you said, it's a fire episode.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to tell you. So hey, yo, yeah. So college, went to this convention, bought this book, The Nile Valley Civilization by Anthony Browder, and yo, that book, another mini explosion in my brain again, because that book described what War Report was saying, as far as like the things that were done in ancient Kemet, you know what I mean? The things that they invented, you know, the philosophers, and basically everything that they did. And it was like, yo, hold on. They did this, and I'm learning this now. I'm like in my early 20s. Like, how come they didn't teach me this in school? Like, and that had me thinking, like, what else are they hiding from me? But just learning that history, knowing like, all right, you say I'm from Africa. Y'all want to say I'm from Africa and all that. All right, these are Egyptians. Then I'm like, yo, hold on. I remember they taught me in high school that Egypt was in the Middle East. I was like, yo, hold on. Why would they do that?
Part of Africa.
I was like, oh, because they want to separate what they did from being Africans. I said, oh, yeah, dirty scoundrels. You scoundrels. But anyway, knowing my history as a Haitian, knowing my history as an African, and I myself, you know, I mean, the mind is so powerful. I myself put myself as somebody who in a past life or my bloodline stems from Egypt, you know what I'm saying? From ancient Kemet, you know what I mean? So I feel like it was my peoples, you know what I'm saying, doing those inventions. It was my ancient family members who was philosophers that the ancient Greeks had to come to and get them lessons from and all that. So that empowered me. And that told me, like, if that's my lineage and that's my heritage, I can't be a pauper. I can't be somebody out here like somebody could look down on. What? Exactly. So that's why I am what I am, as Popeye would say. I am what I am because I know my history, man, or I believe that is my history, and that makes me who I am, man, and I stand on that.
And what's so cold about it is, like I said, when I said I was talking about it in this totality because we were a spiritual people before there was any Arab or European influence. You see what I'm saying? Our deities, they all corresponded. You see what I'm saying? And when you're talking about now is the age of Aquarius. So like I was telling you about the master teacher, he was telling me about all of these things, and it caused me to have all of these, it caused me to have so many questions. And every time I would come with a question, he would have an answer, and I would have another question, he would have an answer. And I'm like, man, the reason why I consider myself highly intelligent is because I know that there's so much that I have to learn, and
still have to learn.
That I still have to learn. Learning is I'm going to constantly be evolving. Because, you know, we are in the age of Aquarius, man. There's so much information that's out there to let you know. Yep. And yeah, hell yeah, I'm proud to be a melanated man. I consider I am an American African.
I'm blessed.
You see what I'm saying? My family is from Africa. And I was the first to I called myself Black Panther before Black Panther, because growing up, you know, a lot of my friends, because you have an area that was majority Black, right? What's so funny about it, my complexion was never an issue until I went over there. Like when I was more on like the white side, it was more international, all sorts of Asians, all sorts of Hispanics, whatever, never became an issue. But in our community, they be like, damn, why are you so black? They saying it with vitriol. It didn't bother me, but I'm just like, hey, this is the way that Allah made me. But that just goes to show you. So when you said Haitian booty scratcher, if you told a girl she had African features 10 years ago, she would be about to slap you. You see what I'm saying? But all it takes is the movie Black Panther to come out, and you see people walking out with that shit. I'm like, man, y'all corny, man. It was a bittersweet moment for me. So
creatures of culture.
So what I say, I'm happy that people are coming into consciousness now as a whole, right? Because I don't discriminate. I've never been a bigot. I've never been prejudiced. So when I talk about know thyself, if you're an Asian man, if like I got a friend who's Indian, right? And one thing I love, I consider myself a warrior sage. You see what I'm saying? And remember that show was called like The Deadliest Warrior?
Yeah.
All right. One of my best friends is from India, right? And I saw these one of their warrior class, they were called the Rajputs. You see what I'm saying? Now, this particular group of people, they could all trace their lineage back to kings of India, right? So they were one of the few that were rebelling against the British. When I saw these Bamas, and when they was just showing like the weapons and stuff they used, I was like, what? And I told my man, I said, hey, I said his name and I put Rajput warrior in there. And he was like, he just gave me like a like or whatever. He was like, hey, what was that? I was like, hey, watch The Deadliest Warrior. He came back, was like, damn, I never even knew. You see what I'm saying? Wow. Every civilization has a warrior class. You see what I'm saying? Right. And embrace that. This is what we are. Granted, I put people first and foremost, but I'm like, hey, look, I respect any and all warrior classes. I do. You see what I'm saying? Because I fought alongside the Kurds in Iraq. Speaking of that, right? Another reason why I go as hard as I do. I was in. I don't know how to explain it, but the Kurds, right? They are a people, if I'm not mistaken, that are between. It's like the Kurd is an autonomous region. I think it's Kurdistan or whatever, Kurdistan, but it's an autonomous region that borders Syria, Iraq, and Iran. Now, the commonality is that they're all Kurdish. So Saddam Hussein, one of the war crimes that he committed, I think he gassed a large population of the Kurdish because they were trying. He was trying to do an ethnic cleansing. But the point of me bringing them up is that the women, Yeah, they didn't play any games.
Mm.
They didn't play any games. Now I'm fresh off the plane, right? So we looking, we working with the interpreters, and they was like, yeah, we're gonna, it's these women they guarding the gates, and it was like a platoon of women, right? And then me and my man was like women, and then one of the girls, her English is broken, but she still not speak. She was pointing to this little girl. The girl was probably like 12 or 13. She said this one killed 3 men.
Mm.
And then the girl was ice grilling me. You see what I'm saying? She was like, yeah,
killer, straight killer.
This one killed 3 men. No flinching, no nothing. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I sit back and I'm like, this is what we were created for. You see what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, and why I stand on traditional gender roles and I say all that, whatever society's talking about is bull jive, is because again, in a apocalypse scenario, it's going to go right back to the way that it was, and men are going to be expected to do the roles that they were created for. And I'm like, oh, but I thought you didn't believe in traditional gender roles.
Exactly, right.
You want me to go do what? Oh no, I'm saying we're equal, right?
We equal, exactly. We equal.
Oh man, so what it all boils down to, and why I go so hard is because, like I said, we have generations of young men, of boys that are being told that they aren't good enough just because of the fact that they are born male. You sound like they are being programmed. Art imitates life. I don't know how many shows I've seen where they have like The Simpsons, Family Guy, where they have this patriarch who's a bumbling idiot, and they have. You see what I'm saying? That's the saving grace. Like without, you take the woman out of the picture and the family goes to hell. I'm just like, come on, Slum. Art imitates life. It's a reason why they're doing this. You see what I'm saying? So I know for a fact I'm not gonna see Passport God with no damn baby rap. I know for a fact I ain't gonna see King Feet walk around with no damn baby rap. You see what I'm saying? I know for a fact I ain't gonna see Coach Don P walk around with no damn baby rap. So we're taking it back to the basics. Men. Right. Apply these. These are tenets. This is.
Hold on. What's your number 5? You got one more. What's your number 5?
Oh, number 5, man. It kind of ties back into number 1, man. Just learning tantra. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why I say learning tantra is because it's a spiritual aspect of it. Not going to get too much into it, but there is you in New York. So there's a matter of fact, boom, there's a website. I'm about to text it to you right now. There's a website called Sacred Eros, right? Okay. Now, let me see. I'm gonna put this on right in the text. I'm gonna text it to you right now. I want you to check it out, right? And what's so cool about it? What's so cool about the website is you're able to find tantra practitioners. So imagine your Passport God now. After mastering non-ejaculatory orgasms, after being able to open your microcosmic orbit and run your sexual energy through it, you'll become the Passport God King. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling, like, you don't understand. You do not understand. So if you took anything I said away from what we were talking about, disregard it all and go on this website and look up a tantra practitioner. Because then you are able to tap into your divine masculine. The word is your oyster.
That's a fact.
I'm
that's a fact.
Like, man, there's a guy, and you watch Uncle Ram, right?
Yeah.
So Uncle Ram talks about Master Yao. I call him Grandmaster Yao, but Master Yao.
Okay, yeah. He has Master Yao, yeah.
He has his own system of tantra. It's called the Grand Trine Life System. Now, prior to me finding out about what tantra was, I met a practitioner. Now, remember earlier I was talking about Achilles. Now, Achilles was a physical specimen. He's the type of guy that, you could look at him and tell you what he's about. Now, the tantra practitioner, he was unassuming. He wasn't impressive at all. Was a small little Asian dude. You see what I'm saying? But since he was a practitioner, he had his masculinity, his divine masculine was online at all times. He was the type of guy that if you saw him with a woman, you're like, how the hell did this dude get this girl? That's because his divine masculine. I've seen him in the throes of sessions with women, right? It looked like they were possessed. It looked like they were possessed. And this is a byproduct of his tantra study. So like when I say it humbled me, I was like, in my mind, I said, there are other men out here that knows what he know. I mean, that know what he knows. You see what I'm saying? That's how, like, I said, look like they were possessed. It was people in the room
I
watching.
believe it.
They weren't even worried about that. They were like,
Yep.
and this is before he's even, you know, before there's any penetration involved.
Exactly. I knew it. I knew it.
Such thing as energetic orgasm. So he wasn't even touching these women. He wasn't even touching these women yet, and they were already. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Next thing is splish splash waterfalls.
Yes.
This one woman in the middle of a session, right? He was talking to this woman, you know, beforehand, right? Before she getting herself into it. I saw her do a complete 180. And I'm gonna end on this, right? What's so cool about it? So he was telling this lady before they got involved into it, you see what I'm saying? And this is her first time coming to the group. And you know, he was hitting her with the little the no-touch orgasm. She's sitting there squirming and squiggling or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Then they started, you know, he started handling his business. You know, the waterfall stopped coming. She had to stop and she started crying. You know what I'm saying? It was so many different emotions.
Exactly.
Like grabbing them, like she was just grabbing them, holding on to him. You see what I'm saying?
Going for a ride.
And afterwards, she was like, you know, she still had tears now. She's like, that has never happened to me before. You see what I'm saying? That has never happened to me before. So at that moment, this was in 2007, I said, where can I learn this power? And so that website, please check it out. You have numerous practitioners in your area. And if anybody is listening, anybody catch this back on a replay, it's called Sacred Eros, SACREDEROS.com. Check it out. Man, all men should be masters of Tantra. All men, not some, not half, not most, all men. That matter of fact, that if you mastered Tantra, you see what I'm saying? And if you mastered a certain martial art, boom, there you go. That's the game right there.
Exactly. Boom.
So please, Passport God, check that out, man. I urge you to
do.
It'll take your game to an entirely different level, man. Because the difference between, you know, you can actually go to these people because they're actually in New York City. There aren't too many practitioners here, so I would have to go out of town to go. You see what I'm saying? So I urge you to do it, man.
Yeah, that's important too, real quick, because I guess let me piggyback off that. You know, on a smaller scale, you know what I mean? These dudes be talking about, you know, how to get a chick, this, then, and the third. And my question be like, all right, even if I tell you how to get a chick, what you gonna do once you have her? I mean, you got her in the bedroom now, right? What you doing? You ended in a minute or two anyway. I mean, so now she not staying around. Like y'all asking the wrong questions. I mean, I be telling y'all dudes, y'all gotta get y'all deadlifts on. That's a workout. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta get your deadlifts on because y'all gotta have stamina. Y'all gotta have strength. You know what I mean? I mean, when because you want to talk about man nature. Man nature is if you're a part of the warrior class, you know, even though you might be a 9-to-5 dude, let's say, you know, you're not into MMA, you're not a dude who's an MMA dude, like going to classes and all that. I say that to say, like, one of the ways that, you know, you can express that warrior energy, that fight energy, is in the bedroom. I mean, like I said before, you dudes be making love to these chicks, man. Y'all be caressing her face and all that. You know what I mean? You don't want to mess her makeup up and make sure, you know, no, fam. Make sure her neck crooked and all that in the bedboard and all that, man. Like, get your aggression on, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying, you know what I mean, to be beating up your chick, punching her in the face. No, that's not what I'm saying whatsoever. What I'm saying is it's okay to be, that's the better word. It's okay to dominate her in the bedroom, man. And the best way to do that is to work out, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be calisthenics or going to the gym. So you are fit and in shape. Because listen, let me say this. Let me just say this. If you're able to pick a woman up while you're behind the bedroom, while you're doing what you're doing, that right there will separate you from a lot of dudes, man. And I'll just finish with that.
So remember how earlier when I said, when you sent that picture of your number 2 and I said, okay, this is the template going forward. When I tell you this, let's just call him the practitioner. When I saw what I saw, I said, that's why sex to me is different. That's why it doesn't really move me like that, because I'm not at his level yet. So even though like I enjoy it, to say that I don't enjoy it is a lie. You see what I'm saying? I enjoy it, but until I get to that level, like that's what I'm striving for. Like it looked like they were possessed. It wasn't even penetration yet. It looked like they were possessed.
Yo, I be telling dudes, yo, a chick can get an orgasm from smoking a cigarette, man. Realize like a chick's orgasm is like, I'll say at least 80% mental. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the physical is involved, yeah, but as you just described, like most of it, majority of it is mental, man. So if you could get into a chick's head, that's another thing. Y'all just gotta learn how to talk while you behind the bedroom too, man. Get that bedroom talk going on. And there's different ways of doing that too. Like you think a chick would just want you being quiet and just grunting the whole time, whole time for like 3 minutes? Nah, man. You gotta get in her head too, man. Shit. Let's imagine speaking to it, getting the chick head in a different language, man, in her culture language. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, y'all dudes, man, step the game up.
Hey, we going
step the game up, man.
That what's so cold about it? I'm gonna hit you offline and see how we're gonna do this. But I wanted to do something with you and King Feet and talk about
definitely
the services that you provide, you know, as far as being a mindset coach, not a dating coach, but a mindset coach. And I wanted y'all to expound on that because I think it's so beneficial to men going forward. I'm not poo-pooing pickup artists and dating coaches, whatever the case. I just
but I'm not that. Yeah, I'm not a dating coach, pickup artist, none of that stuff.
So when y'all said that, I said, boom, there you go. That's the move going forward. So I want to touch base with y'all and see what we can. I'm not gonna have another live until then, until the schedule is good for both of y'all, and I can have both of y'all on. I'm just gonna sit back and take notes, man, because I'm learning from the best. So again, I can't thank you enough. You see what I'm saying? I learned so much for the day, and please, Passport God, check out this sacred Eros. You sound it'll really, you know, you're gonna become the Passport God king. Once we get to that level, I'm telling you.
All right. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that level up, man.
Ain't nothing. You know how we do Modu.
Matter of fact, appreciate you for having me. Actually, let me just say that before I get off, man. Appreciate you for having me. We just chopping it up. We just going back and forth. You know what I mean? Love the conversation. You know what I'm saying? We was dropping a lot of gems that people can take to move forward and to better themselves, man. If they actually just stop and just listen, man. Don't just hear this, man. Just you gotta listen to it. Yeah, I mean, you gotta play it back.
None of this stuff is hyperbole. So, you know, until next time, Mr. Strong Island, man, I can't thank you enough. Man. You already know what time it is.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to you, man.
Peace.
All right, peace.